Hey there, welcome back to High Infidelity, the best channel for cheating stories. Like and subscribe to channel for more spicy stories. Now, let's get into today's story video.
My 33 male, wife 32 female, said her ex's name while we were having. My wife and I have been married for 4 years and have a 2-year-old child. Before getting married, we dated on and off for 3 years. Last night, as we were having, she mentioned her ex's name. She offered some strange explanation for why. She said that it is a common name, it is a pretty popular name, and that she must have heard it recently. I wasn't about to start a major fight with her at that point. It has subsequently made me concerned as to why she did it. For some context, this was a man she had been seeing for a few years before I met her. They met in college and were in a committed relationship for a while. When I met her, they had split up and thought they would be better off as friends. They had been friends for years before they started dating. We began dating, but he stayed in the picture. He was her closest friend first and foremost, and I unwillingly agreed to it for her sake. After a few months, I put my foot down, stating that it is too unpleasant for me. There was some pushback, but she took a step back from him. She was with him every time we split up. We eventually reconciled and were married. He evidently didn't realize this and abruptly quit speaking to her. She was distraught, which should have been a warning sign. We chatted about it, and she was pleased that she had picked me. Now that this has occurred, I'm inclined to check to see whether she has reconnected with him. I know she checked in on his social media since I saw the laptop searches. She has no idea that I am aware of this. I don't believe she cheat, but this man was always out of the ordinary for her. Do I just confront her? Do I begin looking through her phone? Is it just me, or am I being paranoid? I did my research before speaking with her. I initially looked through his social media, but nothing overtly said anything was going on. Some others said his love in their remarks, although it might mean anything. I did check the phone bill, and there seemed to be frequent calls with him. I was able to access her phone when she was sleeping. She must have forgotten I knew the secret. Nothing in messages and no strange phone calls. As a result, she erased them. I did discover several applications she attempted to keep hidden, such as Snapchat and Kik. There they are, having their discussions. And there are photographs. I took photographs of everything on my phone as evidence. She burst when we had the chat and ran away with our kid to her mother's house. I called a lawyer and am now in the process of divorcing and determining custody. I'm sad and enraged more than anything else. I'm angry with her, but I'm also mad at myself for ignoring so many warning signals. ETAs, the chats I discovered confirmed that they were having an affair. They were trading images, some of which were naked. Story 2. Me 41 male, with my wife 36 female of 7 years, wife cheated. Complicated story. Trying to decide next steps, looking for advice and experience. Me Chris is 41 years old, and Claire is 36 years old. I've been married for 7 years and have a 5-year-old son. First, some context. We met on a CLM/W page in San Francisco. I don't believe it was a chance meeting. At the time, I was hopelessly married, way done, and posted where I believed I'd be going soon, lived in Texas. I suppose I wanted the thrill of a roommate marriage as well. Emails led to texting and phone conversations, which led to in-person meetings, which led to a year of long-distance communication, which led to where we are today. I have kept my true identity, name/face, secret because, well, CL. It's then my wife found out and outed me to my present wife before we met. My current wife had no idea I was married at the time. We eventually meet in person in a little pub in California, and the local town drunk tells us we're going to marry. She was clearly irritated and offended that I had led her on, that I had not informed her I was married, that I had lied about my true ID, and that I had backed out of meeting up with her sooner. I had already divorced my previous wife, and had been dating my current wife long distance for almost a year, when she informed me she was relocating to Texas to be with me. We marry around 6 months after she moves and have our child about 2 years later. With a child and each of us having hard jobs, intimacy and closeness are challenging. She's tough to live with since she's approximately 65% of the time and or spends a lot of time on her work at night and on weekends. Her father died a year ago, and her new work is very stressful. In May, she remains out all night with new acquaintances, including her hairdresser, after being pass-out drunk, supposedly straight. The same thing happened the next weekend. She claims she was unhappy and agitated, and that things simply went out of hand. I don't believe there was any cheating, but it is possible. To save her sanity and the relationship, we agreed 4 months ago for her to leave her work and spend more time with the child before K begins. It's a positive shift, she's happy, and we're closer. So a few weeks ago, we went out on a date night, had drinks, and she begins telling me that I should have an affair, that she wants us to fuck more, and that she's having a hard time connecting with me. She's always been a touch envious, so it struck me as strange. I told her it was a good moment to disclose anything. She declined. I go through the Chrome history on the home computer and find some FB chat history, but not the actual conversations with a man she's not friends with. I decide to install a keylogger, and when I return from a vacation, I notice some strange messages but can't see the other side. She already spends the majority of her time on Facebook on her phone. She sees me peeking in Chrome history. I tell her I'm weirded out by her conversation, but she behaves as if I'm insane for thinking anything is wrong. She begins wiping her Chrome history from that point on. However, nothing else appears on the keylogger for the following week. We went to her previous company's Christmas party a couple of nights ago. She's a little tipsy. Introduce yourself to the person whose FB chats I spotted in my Chrome history. I see an unusual glance from him to her out of the corner of my eye, and she takes my hand and leads me to the door. I walk to the restroom before we go, and she's standing next to him again 60 feet down the hall. When we receive the vehicle back from valet, I inquire, "How do you know that guy?" "I don't know him," she replies. I repeat, "I saw the glance, you were enraged, and then you returned." Denies but refuses to look at me. I demand to see her phone, but I can't locate it. Finally, she adds, "I," and begins sobbing. She claims it happened just once and was a huge mistake. She hasn't stopped weeping since. Since then, I pieced together what she said and what I snooped on twice, once around 2 months ago and once about a month ago. They had been FB chatting every now and then. They met at an industry event, lots of coworkers, in which they were both involved. She said he pursued her, was excited that someone was romancing her. 2 weeks after meeting was the first incident, and then about a month later, right after our family vacation to NY, she said she went to see a couple movies back to back. Not unusual for her to go to a movie alone, but maybe not 2 in a row. She had sent him some boudoir photos intended for me just a week before. There were no plans for more that I could see, but who knows? She said that she is not in love with him and that she is in love with me. I've gone from being extremely enraged to understanding and attempting to find out what was lacking between us. We become closer in the previous 6 months, particularly since she left her work. I know she didn't do it to spite me because she would have flaunted it. But she is truly sad. I told her I understood since I had done something similar with my ex-wife. The hardest thing she realized was lying to me. She told me it was once, not twice. Even after being caught, her confession, and making me feel silly when she found me snooping. She also said that the affair made her desire me even more, that it reawakened her side after 5 years of it not being a priority for her. I adore her, and I don't want our child to grow up with divorced parents. I've never met somebody I'm more attracted to, and I've never considered pursuing anyone myself as a result. I'm sort of messed up and in a pickle. My thinking tells me that if we broke up, I'd be able to preserve all of the things I like about her, friendship and perhaps continuing ex, without having to worry about investing in the romantic side of us and dealing with the bother of living with her. People, my heart tells me, are imperfect, make errors, and deserve a second chance. Gave me when we met. So, assuming you're still reading, what are your opinions on any or all of the following? Is she excused because of what I did before we met? Is she being apologetic because she would have to return to work if we break up? Should I have a sanctioned affair? Is that of any help? Is it possible for individuals to develop stronger as a result of these sorts of situations? Is it possible to be in love with someone and cheat on them? Is it strange that the line bothers me more than the fact that she had with someone else? Is this a moment when beautiful women want to legitimize their beauty as they reach the age of 40? Thanks.